Hello again. So now I want to talk about the second obstacle that I had to deal with uh, prior to the surgery, and that is communication on the day of the surgery. You would think that I don't know. Kaiser should know. Like anybody doing operations for cochlear implant know that they're dealing with patients who cannot hear. So you would think they have a plan in place for that. They don't. So there's something called COAT services, and it has to do with providing accurate captioning, not like the auto-generated captions of YouTube, which can be okay, but it's not sufficient. Um, so that is what I really needed because I'm not fluent in ASL. I know a lot of signs, but I'm not fluent. Um, so I really wanted captioning services. Um, no one knew how to provide that. It took a lot to get to a person who said, "Oh, I think I've heard of that." So that was like, okay, close enough. So even once I found that person, she said, "No, I talked to my manager. We don't have cut services, but we can provide you with an interpreter." So the thing that's interesting is I think Kaiser and all medical providers have like the translator services on an iPad. So then the person doesn't have to come in. I did not want that kind of interpreter on an iPad because I would not be able to communicate with the interpreter to say, this is what I need from you. Like anything I say, they would sign to the doctor. Like the interpreter is not paying attention to what I'm saying because that's what they're supposed to do. They're just supposed to interpret. So my backup plan was Kaiser provided is to have an in-person interpreter. And that was helpful, and I'm glad I did that. Two notes about that. One, I'm lucky because the day of the procedure, I did have hearing, so I could rely on that somewhat. Um, it's in a field where everybody's wearing masks. And most people that day did have clear diction, so that was good too. Um, and I'm glad I had an interpreter, and then I could explain to him what I needed, that I needed sort of like SimCom. I don't really, a SimCom means signing while speaking. I don't know if there's specific method to that. Whether what I do is I sign the words I say, which is basically I'm signing using ESL sign to speak in English. Um, anyway, the interpreter had a mask, and when I asked him if he had a clear mask so that I could lip read him together with the signs, he said it was in the car and he doesn't like wearing them. Did I need him to go get them? So it worked out fine because I could hear and it was still helpful to have another person there. But it was just, that was a really big obstacle. It was really hard that I had to advocate so much in a situation where it should have been obvious. Like when you're having a cochlear implant, Kaiser and any medical provider should say, do you want an ASL interpreter or do you want captioning services? Like it should be part of what they ask you, what they ask the patients. It should not be that I have to go chasing so many people. So I spoke to the surgeon. So I wrote to the surgeon. I spoke to the surgeon. I spoke to one of the people on the phone in the ear, nose, and throat doctor's office. I spoke to the general surgery department. I spoke to medical release services. This has nothing to do with this, but this is where I was led to. Um, but eventually I landed on somebody who heard about it. And so it was something. So anyway, that was a big obstacle. Um, but it got resolved. I'm proud of myself for pushing through. I'm sad I didn't have the captioning, but it worked out. So those are all the pre-surgery updates. Now I have other update coming.